Hello everyone, let's talk about Rose Tinted Glasses. Nostalgia that you may or may not remember vividly from the past. I mean, how many of you can go back and watch an episode of Alf and still enjoy it? How many can go back and watch Three's Company and still enjoy it? I mean, I've had friends that have wanted to watch like the original Batman series with, Burt Ward and Adam West. I mean, and they're like, what was I thinking when I watched that show when I was younger? For me, I love shows like Get Smart, still holds up well. Get a Life with Chris Elliott. And Chris Elliott actually got a great start because he used to actually work with David Letterman, and he happened to run into him in the hallway and told a joke, and that's pretty much what launched his career. Him just making David Letterman laugh. But I love Get a Life, and I love seeing him in other roles. I mean, you may or may not remember him from stuff like, of course, Scary Movie 2, My Germs. He's had other movies as well. I mean, think of Chris Elliott without going onto IMDb or, of course, Rotten Tomatoes, and try to think of how many you could name that you've seen him in over the years. He's had another movie as well. He had one standalone movie. I mean, just like Carrot Top had a movie. Try to think of Chris Elliott's standalone movie and try to name it without looking it up. Pauly Shore as well. I mean, try naming a few Pauly Shore movies. I mean, I'll give you the first one, Biodome. But going back to nostalgia, a series that I love is Lethal Weapon. And we're going to try out a few different versions. Typically, the moment you have a licensed video game, it's almost like a nail in the coffin already. I mean, it's 6 feet under before it even comes out. It's just how it is. We're going to try Lethal Weapon for NES. I mean, I've owned this game, but I've never actually played it. Yes, I went to Funko Land. I went to like 4 Funko Lands in one day with that little brochure showing all the prices of the games, and I bought as many Nintendo games as I could. But we're trying the NES version right now. Right now, it reminds me of like Friday the 13th. Where's the counselors at? And oh, jeez, it looks like the overhead view for the beginning of Friday the 13th. Yes, if we had an armada of tanks right there, we'd be able to take out Jason Voorhees pretty quick, wouldn't we? Okay. Am I Rambo or am I Riggs? Oh, what the hell is this phallic symbol doing on the ground? What the hell? This is almost as bad as playing Codename Viper and having no pants. Yes, don't believe me. Load up Codename Viper, also made by Capcom. Plays a little bit like Rolling Thunder, but you have no pants. I mean, I don't even know if I want to load this up. That guy up there is holding a phallic symbol. Go back and play like Ring King. I mean, load up Ring King and go to the in-between rounds. I mean, there's so many. It seems almost like these are intentional inside jokes. I mean, this is obviously looking like a phallic symbol. I've never played this game. What? Oh, geez. Like John Rambo going on here. That reminds me of the movie Orgasmo with Trey Parker and Matt Stone. I remember just going through hell to even rent that game. It's really not game. It would be a funny game, but I meant movie. I mean, I love all the Matt Stone and Trey Parker movies, from Basketball to Orgasmo to Cannibal the Music. Let's Build a Snowman. This kind of reminds me of like POW right now. A lot more like POW. Clearly ripping off SNK right now. But these phallic symbols are just ridiculous. What were they thinking when they made this? Just like, this guy wasn't paid enough or he was bored, whatever. Okay. It's still an interesting game though. Not quite as bad as I thought. I mean, it's not like when you're playing like Predator and fighting like spiders and stuff. Or Rambo and fighting like tarantulas on the ground, snakes, all that fun stuff. And I had one friend when I was growing up. I had Rambo. And I actually did enjoy the game. It was a little bit like a Metroidvania game to a degree. But my friend wanted it. And we're probably like 12, 13 years old when we had the game. And he wanted it. His dad offered to buy it off me. And I'm like, no, I really don't want that. So he's like, how about I arm wrestle you for it? We're talking a guy that was like late 20s, early 30s. Wanted to arm wrestle a 12, 13-year-old kid. It was kind of funny at the time. And just the whole Rambo thing. I was a massive Rambo fan. Rambo, First Blood, all that fun stuff. But I remember watching like Family Ties and that one Scott Valentine. There was one episode, and I used to do like the way I do videos here. I do like my own radio type show, recorded on the tape deck and all that with my friend. And I'd always like take Scott Valentine, where he's like Mary, and it'd be like a Rambo voice. And I'm like, did I make this up, or was it like, where did it come from? I was going through clips of Three's Company, not Three's Company, Family Ties on YouTube, and literally I found a clip of him doing like a Rambo-style voice, yelling up the stairs for Maui, and it was funny as hell. I mean, he really reminds me of Rambo when he does it. He'd be like a good, like, if it wasn't Charlie Sheen in Hot Shots Part 2 doing Rambo, it would most certainly be Scott Valentine. Scott Valentine was also in, Up All Night, you know, one of those Julie Brown Up All Night movies, late night movies, the sex monster, where every time he got a little bit ornery, he turned into a monster. It's a pretty funny movie. Okay, we're going to go to another version of Lethal Weapon here. We're going to do the Super Nintendo version with SNES Fox Xtreme. And go back to other movies that you might remember from way, way back, or video games, etc., TV shows that you might go back to. I mean, obviously, I've gone back and revisited Sledgehammer many, many times. Great show. And it's funny seeing him, David Rash. He actually was in the movie Cobra with Sylvester Stallone, but he also later on played like a senator and or a president in other movies. I mean, it's interesting seeing some of these people who do like comical roles earlier on going into dramatic roles farther on. I mean, and it worked in reverse as well, where we have like Leslie Nielsen starting out with dramatic Shakespearean style roles, including Forbidden Planet, and going into stuff like Naked Gun, and of course Airplane. You might have noticed Joe Pesci in the beginning there. Joe Pesci is always fun to watch in everything. I love him in My Cousin Vinny with Ralph Macchio. Very cool game here. Kind of reminds me of Access Denied. Music's interesting. This kind of reminds me of like the Kemco Seiko Superman, where like seems like it's going to be a pretty bad game. But let's see. Let's try Mission 2 here and see how it goes out. Because like I said, it's like a nail in a coffin, 6 feet under the moment you have a licensed game. I mean, how many licensed games do you remember actually being good? I mean, Ghostbusters was a great licensed game. I mean, without a doubt. I still have that for PS3 sealed copy. I never even opened it. This kind of reminds me a little bit of games like Home Improvement, which was a shmup. Oh no, we got Gators. Let's go back to like Gators in movies and such. Eraser with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Remember what he did with he was out of bullets where he had like one bullet left, and there's an aquarium and gators in it. So what did he do? And of course we have that movie Alligator, where the kid wanted an alligator and it was flushed down the toilet and turned into a monster, and the detectives were trying to find it. I mean, like anything and everything. It was like monster movies back then. The Savage Bees. We had like a grizzly bear. I mean, how many animals, cars, vehicles? I mean, even had like a killer dozer movie way back. Come on now. At least this isn't as bad as like Batman Forever, where like you couldn't even do the control scheme. What is with this gator? Oh man. And what other like pinnacle roles do you remember having alligators? And I have this one book that I got a kick out of called the Survival Handbook. If you ever run into a gator in real life, what would you do? Would you kick it? Would you try to elbow it? No, you'd actually try to punch it in the snout as hard as you possibly can. That is one of the best ways to save yourself, because the moment it gets a hold of you and takes you underneath the water, you know, the swamp, whatever, as you will, it'll roll and take you down where you drown and you have nothing. But if you punch it in the snout, you may have a chance of getting away. So what other version do we have of Lethal Weapon? We're going to be doing the Hatari Xtreme, the Atari ST version. And we're talking about Rose Tinted Glasses, nostalgia. I mean, for me, even though R-Type is a great arcade game, for me, the first version I ever played of it was on Sega Master System. And that's the version I love the most. I mean, even to this day, I love that version the most. And with this update, you're going to be able to like do many things. I mean, we pull up the virtual keyboard here. Just for the sake of playing this for a moment, we're going to do the cheats. F1, F2, F3, and some cores, especially the DOS, should we say like the DOS floppy disk style games, can be a little bit tricky and finicky with BIOS. And I'll show you what I'm talking about here. I'm going to give you an example of this. Let's start this game here. You're going to be able to hold the R3 button on your controller, which would be like the right stick, push down on it, or you can remap it and it'll be a turbo button. We have nice scan lines there. But yeah, some cores use different BIOS, and like PlayStation 1 uses like a standard set of BIOS for Japan, Europe, and USA, but systems like this, you might have to use different BIOS there, and you're going to be able to do that through the ROM section there. I'll give you an example of that with the next game I play. So let's start this out and say let's play it. Okay. Let's shut this out for a moment. Interested in music here. Loving this music. And playing way better. And it's faster. It's like full speed now. It has great music, comparatively speaking, to what it used to be. Okay, let's do mission 2 again here. Yes. Okay. It kind of reminds me of like some of them Capcom games, like I said, Spy, Superman, etc. And they made that Ambition game, which is like an older, archaic but amazing Tom Clancy game. Now I've noticed that one thing with Atari ST that's pretty damn cool, and you might not notice it right away here until I do like another demonstration, but it has amazing bass. I'm absolutely loving the bass here. It's like very harmonic bass-wise. A lot of games don't have a lot of depth to their bass, and I'm going to give an example of this with another Atari ST game here. But I'm loving this. Let's do what is considered definitively the best version of Lethal Weapon, the Amiga version. And right there, it says Cracked by Ministry. I also love the band Ministry. Great, great band. Just like KMFDM. I love my industrial metal. But right there, Trainer +5. That'd be like all the cheats and all that. And now we're officially doing the Amiga port, and we know the Amiga has absolutely beautiful music. So let's check this out. We can do the right mouse click to toggle between PAL and NTSC. And a little known tidbit here. The Mega Drive, SNES, NES Classics, they're all NTSC no matter what you do. I mean, it's in all regions. Okay, let's do unlimited bullets. Unlimited mags. Unlimited energy. Unlimited lives. Okay. What is your favorite Lethal Weapon movie? I mean, for me, I'd say a combination of Lethal Weapon 2 and 4, especially Joe Pesci, and being in like Lethal Weapon 4 was awesome. And wasn't Chris Rock also in Lethal Weapon 4? Didn't he date the daughter of Danny Glover? I'm pretty sure of that. It's been a while since I saw it. I saw it in the theater when it came out, but it was a fun movie. Oh, this music is awesome. Love this. It's orchestral. Like orchestral maneuvers in the dark. But like I said, a lot of licensed games over the years have just been pretty bad. I mean, I do like the animated Transformers games. They would have been pretty fun. But the TMNT animated game of the same nature on like PS3, etc., was not nearly as good as the Transformers one. The Transformer one was absolutely amazing. This sounds like music from the movie here. Oh wow, pretty cool. Let's try doing stage 1 here. Oh, this is kind of funny here. Here I was doing like the jump noise here. It's almost like when you're playing like a Duke Nukem game and you hear the same sound effect over and over again. I'm going to get more into this when I show up the 1943 game next, but hear that? It's going to come and parlay into my next conversation here. Oh, I can't do that, but I could probably go over to the left here. Mission 1. Great music. Without a doubt, this Amiga version is mind-blowing. I'm loving the Atari ST. And you're going to see what I mean by the Atari ST version here in a moment. And love this. You hear the floppy disk noises while it has like the Lethal Weapon there. Cool as hell. Hear the music. It's like loaded music here. Very cool. I want to go back and watch the Lethal Weapon movies now. I mean, Lethal Weapon 1, 2, 3, 4, as well as the TV series. The TV series is pretty cool too. There we go. Oh yeah, this is playing great. Oh, I can even do like kicks and all that. And remember, Lethal Weapon 4 was also the I consider it the first movie to truly have Jet Li like propelled to superstardom. I mean, there's that one scene in the movie, spoiler alert, where he comes down the banister and just decimates the room John Wick style. I mean, ever since then, I saw all Jet Li movies in the theater, and I love Hero. I mean, they were all great movies. Danny the Dog, a.k.a. Unleashed. Kiss of the Dragon. What other Jet Li movies do you like? Fearless was probably one of my favorites. Okay. Okay. Isn't this like from Lethal Weapon 4, even though this game came out before Lethal Weapon 4? This game came out like 1991, 1992, but we have like scenes like straight out of Lethal Weapon 4, the movie. And I have to revisit Lethal Weapon 1. I mean, remember Lethal Weapon 2 had like a nail gun in it, but was there like a shark or a boat in Lethal Weapon 1? There's one time when I went to a dollar store with my wife, and they had this inflatable shark boat for like 50 cents. And I'm like, can I get it? She's like, no. And nowadays I look them up, and they cost like, they're not that cheap anymore. They literally sell for like $15 to $20 now. I'd love to just get a random like inflatable shark boat and just leave it around the house somewhere. But my new cat would probably rip it to shreds without a doubt. Right here it's a dead end, so obviously I have to go back, track, go here, and probably do all this kind of platforming. You know how that goes. Oh, it's fun platforming. And it's kind of interesting because another Amiga game I get a kick out of is a Hulk Hogan. It's I'm gonna lose the light there. It's a Hulk Hogan platformer slash shmup. It's called Suburban Commando, and I love watching all the original Hulk Hogan movies. I mean, even Santa with Muscles. Jeez, let's try to actually get a little bit here. Focus. And this type of platformer here where you have to kind of wait for the platforms. The first game I ever played like that is an old title game called Jungle Hunt, aka Jungle King. They couldn't call it Jungle King in the United States because it kind of like, they consider it to be almost like copyright infringement off of Tarzan. So they call it Jungle Hunt in the United States. But very, very cool stuff indeed here. Now we're going to go to another game here. We're going to do 1943. Let's do the Nintendo version here. Again, Rose Tinted Glasses here. Okay, I'm listening to the music here. We got the nice melody going on here. We hear the bass. And I love this because it has like a power-up system here. I mean, I love any kind of game where you can upgrade your car, vehicle, and do power-ups here. I just gave myself all full power. I want to be able to blow up the mini-bosses or the sub-bosses, etc., real fast. And we can even do turbo fire if we so choose to. It reminds me of playing like Legendary Wings. I mean, I love all these old classic Capcom shmup games. Overhead, side view, horizontal, you know, it's so on. What is your favorite Capcom shmup of all? I'm trying to think of what mine would be. I'd have to say Forgotten Worlds, but Forgotten Worlds is incredibly difficult playing one-player mode activate. But you can do a little bit of a hack on Mega Drive by having 2 controllers and keep pushing start on the second controller. You'll have infinity continue. So if you play one life, you die, you're over with, unless you get the shops and buy like extra life, power up, all that fun stuff. But give it a huge kick out of this game. I'm going to let you listen to the music on here for a moment here. Okay, obviously the sound channel for the bass harmony right here is not, it doesn't have nearly as much to it. It's not like the great bombastic bombacity of like the special sound chip for the Konami version of Castlevania 3. I could go dead set here. So we're going to try another version of this and compare the music directly. 1943 here. Let's do the arcade version, and we're going to have the arcade artwork cabinet going on here. And we're going to compare the harmony dissonance here as far as like the bass line is concerned. Because for me, like I said, I love the Sega Master System version of R-Type. I mean, I can play the arcade version, R-Type Dimension, and I still love playing that amazing Sega Master System version. I played it so many times along with Fantasy Zone, and they were my definitive ports. What games have you played that you like the definitive ports of? I mean, we have Bad Dudes, games like, should we say, RoboCop, made by Data East, which are far superior in the arcade version, but I love the NES versions as well, just like Carnoff. Data East for the win here. Has more of like electronica style, almost like earlier Depeche Mode, New Order style, je ne sais quoi going on here. So, graphically, it's the best of the versions that I've seen so far. But musically, I'm not enjoying this as much as the NES music. We're going to go to another port and see what's going on. Yeah, the graphics are absolutely mind-blowing. Kind of reminds me of the awesomeness of playing games like Namco's should we say, Dragon Spirit. I love Dragon Spirit. Great game. TurboGrafx-16. It's almost a spot-on port, just like Kadash. I mean, even Kadash, a great other Data East game. Not Data East game, title game. It's only 2-player mode activate on Genesis, but on TurboGrafx-16, you can play all 4 characters. Awesome stuff there indeed. Let's go to the other version here. 1943 on, we're going to do the Atari. And here's where things get incredibly interesting. Like I said, for me, Sega Master System R-Type, the best version, definitively. Fantasy Zone, Space Harrier, all them Sega games on Sega Master System just blew my mind. Now, you're going to have BIOS that come with the release here, and you might want to switch them to different BIOS. I'm going to give you an example of this. You could use your mouse. You could use your controller as well. It's just not going to work as nice. You can go into ROM, browse, and 1943 is a special case scenario game where I'm going to have notes on which BIOS you're going to want to use for it. Like Lethal Weapon and this are going to work with different BIOS. Right here, we're going to do this one right here. And again, I'll have release notes. So I chose a different BIOS there. Go back to the main menu. I'm going to go System. I'm going to give it to Falcon here. So it's like doing the Amiga 500, 600, 1200. Here, SD, STE, TT, and Falcon. We're going to do Falcon. Change the CPU type to 68040. And obviously, you people who play the Atari ST are going to be having a metaphorical wet dream right now, just knowing you could do all these type of options. We do not need prefetch mode. We don't want to load this into memory and have everything go slower. We want to be able to play this badass style. We want to turn the borders off so we can go full screen. We got 16 colors. We're going to play in 720p. What else do we have? We have our memory here. We have 14 megabytes of memory. That is real nice there. You don't even have to pay for that memory. We're all good. Sounds in high definition there. We go to reset machine. Gonna push the L1. We can go between joystick or mouse. And let's get the show on the road here. We're going to skip the memory test because we can actually hold the R3 button on the controller to literally fast forward. Look at it. I'm fast forwarding right now. So you don't have to wait like 3 or 4 minutes for some games to load like you did on the old Commodore 64 core before that got fixed up. But listen to this amazing music here. Oh, wow. That is so much cooler there. And here's a little known tidbit. If you ever play Sharp X68000, they say they're arcade ports, but it's actually in reverse. They actually designed some games like Ghosts and Ghosts and Strider on the Sharp X68000, then they ported them to the arcade, not the other way around. But when I was doing the little demonstration of Lethal Weapon there, where every time I jumped, it went, it's interesting because the Strider version of the X68000 Sharp, actually every time you did the saber slash move, it would go, and it got real tedious, real fast. And so, like I said, having the same sound effect over and over again. Luckily, they fixed it to a nice, nifty, sword slashing style noise for the Mega Drive and arcade version. So, yeah, that's one of the pinnacle changes in the version of the arcade version of the X68000. Otherwise, the game is literally about the same. Other than that little sword slashing sound effect going, like grunt noises on Sharp X68000. Don't blame me. Look up Sharp X68000 Strider and just listen to it on YouTube. It is a bunch of grunting noises. It sounds like more phallic symbols in the bedroom, like deep skin, you know. And let's talk about horror movies. Since it is Halloween time. Trick or Treat is one of the greatest horror movies to watch this time of year. But I love watching other horror movies, and I'm starting to watch Halloween Ends. I watched the other two. It's kind of interesting how they make the first Halloween. He's almost like an Uber Michael Myers, like Jason X. And then the second one, they made it more realistic. But spoiler alert, there are two things like conundrums, what I consider like very, very weird plot holes in the second Halloween movie, Halloween Kills movie. Again, spoiler alert, we know that he walks fast in all his movies, right? He walks. But there's a scene in the movie where he clearly knocks on the front door, and then they answer, he's not there. Then a few seconds later, he's at the back door. How did he do that? He literally ran to the back door. There's another part where there's a whole group of people who are trying to basically lynch him. And like they said in Game of Thrones, winter is coming. They say evil dies tonight, probably 87 times in the course of the movie. But there's a part where they're about to lynch him. He's in the car, And what does he do? He doesn't try to drive away. He literally turns on the radio and turns on a country song. But in Halloween Ends, I would consider it one of the least Halloween movies in existence. It's like almost as far gone as like Halloween 3 with like the kids being brainwashed by the TV. It is more of like a psychological thriller about somebody delving into the psychosis of an experience and traumatic confrontation with a Michael Myers scenario. That's all I'll say, but it was a fun movie. In the other horror movies I enjoyed more recently, and since I did this, I talked about Codename Viper. Let's do it for a second here. It's one of the last ones. But horror movies I liked recently were obviously like Smile. That was a fun movie. It kind of reminded me of like the visual presentation of Candyman, but with more of like the je ne sais quoi of It Follows style movie. You can almost call it a spiritual successor to It Follows. And of course, I like the movie Barbarian. I'm not going to say a damn thing about it. I mean, one of the guys from Wise Kids You Know directed it, and he might have had something to do with the script and all that, but very creepy, suspenseful movie, and they threw a few red earrings at you, so you don't quite know what's going on. But I found them to both be very, very fun movies. I mean, Smile was somewhat predictable, but Barbarian, not quite so much. It was also like a politically correct statement to current day and times. Not quite woke, as you will. We're going to go to Codename Viper here. Like I said, that phallic symbol and many other things. I'm not even going to do the Ring King one. I mean, you could load Ring King for yourself and go to like a side mission, but Codename Viper, we're going to load this with FCMM Xtreme, so we have 0 slowdown. And like I said, it's pretty damn funny when you see this. I mean, just like the phallic symbols and lethal weapon here. Look, he's buck naked from the waist down, the way the color looks. I mean, like, could they have given him like black pants or even like green pants? I mean, literally, it looks like he's buck naked here. I don't even want to think about this, but I bet you somebody's done a ROM hack where they took like the phallic symbol from like Lethal Weapon in the NES version and put it in this game. But look at this is ridiculous. It's like playing new Tomb Raider here. But yeah, games like this, Go-Go 13, and of course like Ring King and Lethal Weapon, they all have these funny, I mean, what other games do you know that have like maybe unintentional or somebody just being silly doing like intentional inside jokes, sexual style innuendo in the game? But clearly this one, look, what is going on? This is ridiculous. Oh wow, whoever did this had a sense of humor, because he has no pants, and the way he dies is redonkulous. I'm not even going to retread that right now. Oh, jeez. But I hope you enjoyed the video, and there'll be more to come. And definitely let me know what horror movies you're watching right now, or horror TV shows. I mean, even though it's a Halloween thing, I watch them all year round, 365 days a year, even on the leap year. I love watching my horror movies. But hope you enjoyed the video. There'll be more to come. Released hopefully within the next 2 weeks around Halloween.